Why are blood donors always needed, and why is giving blood so important? Simply put, giving blood can save someone's life. 3,000 units of blood are needed every week for accidents, operations, cancer treatments, and for newborn babies. 1 in 4 of us will need blood at some stage in our lives. Perhaps you already know someone who has received a transfusion. Only 3% of the eligible population give blood, and a blood donation lasts for just 35 days.
I was diagnosed at age 8 with a rare genetic illness called Fanconi anemia. And what happens with Fanconi's is the bone marrow fails, so then you can't produce blood cells. I would have had my first blood transfusion at age 9, just after I was diagnosed. And I had them on and off then over 8 years. And then when I was 16, my bone marrow failed, and so I needed a bone marrow transplant. But while they were waiting to get a donor for the bone marrow transplant, I basically survived on blood transfusions for a whole year. So I was having one once a month for that year between ages 15 and 16. Blood transfusions kept me alive. Basically, I would have died without blood, so I needed other people's blood to live. I certainly feel indebted to people who donate blood. I think it's such an important thing to do.
For your first donation, you must be aged between 18 and 65 years and over 7 stone 12 pounds in weight. Remember, your first donation is always easier with a friend or family member, so bring someone along if you're feeling a little nervous. To keep the blood supply safe, there are some restrictions on giving blood. For example, if you have a cold, you'll need to wait until you are fully recovered before donating. Deferrals for travel are dependent on the country or region you've visited, so you'll need to check with the Irish Blood Transfusion Service donor line. Unfortunately, you cannot give blood if you've ever received a blood transfusion or spent 1 year or more in the UK between the years 1980 and 1996. If you are on medication or unsure if you can donate, please call the donor helpline and you can speak confidentially to IBTS staff. People are often unsure of the rules regarding blood donation. Alcohol consumption, smoking, or simply not knowing your blood group are some common reasons why people think they cannot donate. While smokers can give blood, it's recommended you don't smoke for at least 1 hour after donating, as you may feel lightheaded. If you've been drinking alcohol the previous day, please ensure you have drunk plenty of cold fluids and are fully hydrated before attending a donation clinic. There is no need to know your blood group before you donate. You will be sent a donor card after you give blood, which will show you your blood group. How many blood groups are there? There are 8 different blood groups. 47% of people in Ireland are O positive, making it the most common group. While the IBTS need all blood types, there is a greater demand for the O negative group, as it is a universal donor from which all people can receive. If you were ever in an emergency situation and required a transfusion, you will be given O negative if your blood group was not known by the medics. What happens at a blood donation clinic?
I've been donating blood since I was about 18. My dad, as soon as I turned 18, really pushed me to go give blood. He's like, it's a great thing, it's very easy to do, it doesn't take much of your time, so I've been donating ever since. The process of giving blood takes maybe about 45 minutes to an hour. The donation process starts when you walk in the door. You meet with the receptionist. They give you a questionnaire to fill out just on kind of a bit about your background to see if you're able to give blood. After that, they'll take you into another room and they'll test your iron levels by pricking your finger and just putting a bit of blood into a machine. After that, they bring you into the main room where they sit you down and a nurse sits with you and they take the blood from you. For me, giving blood doesn't really hurt. There's a slight pinch when they put the needle in, but that's literally it. The nurses and doctors here have been doing this so long that they're able to do it really well, and I've never had any trouble. And then after that, you sit in another waiting room. They give you some refreshments like crisps or maybe a can of Coke or something, and you just relax for like 5 minutes, and then you're free to go. I definitely think giving blood is a positive experience. It helps so many people. There's a great need out there to give blood, and it only takes about 45 minutes to an hour of your time.
To recap, upon arrival, you will register your details at the clinic reception. Then you will be asked to fill in a health and lifestyle questionnaire. A donor attendant will then check your hemoglobin levels. And if you're eligible, you can then give a blood donation. Afterwards, you are asked to rest and enjoy some refreshments. You can resume normal activities, however, it is recommended you avoid heavy lifting or exercise that evening. What happens to my blood after the clinic?
After the unit is collected, the blood is then put on a tray that keeps it at cools it down rapidly and keeps it at 20 degrees centigrade, plus or minus 1 or 2 degrees. At the end of the clinic, all the units collected are then taken on these trays in a temperature-controlled environment and shifted back either to the National Blood Centre in Dublin or to the regional centre in Cork for further processing. The blood comes in and is stored overnight at 20 degrees in temperature-controlled rooms for subsequent manufacture the following morning. We very rarely now use blood as it comes out of the vein. We don't leave it like that for use in the hospitals. We spin it on centrifuges, we separate out the plasma and the platelets from the red cells, and we then resuspend the red cells in a storage solution. So by the time we're finished, there's about 200 mils of red cells in 100 mils of storage solution, which can then be stored for subsequent use for about 5 weeks if necessary. Between the Dublin and Cork centres, we manufacture about 3,000 units a week. The place is always open. We never close, not for a minute of any day. There's no closure for stock takes, no closure for Christmas Day, nothing. It's always available. So any hospital that needs blood phones us up anytime they want and we'll ship it. We ship directly to hospitals. So it always goes from here into a hospital blood bank. There's no intermediate step.
Here are some frequently asked questions about blood donation. How much blood will be taken? Just a little less than 1 pint of blood. The average person has between 8 and 12 pints of blood in their body, and the volume loss is replaced within a few weeks. Is it safe? Yes. There is no chance of contracting any disease. Disposable needles and gloves are always used on clinic. Does it hurt? All you should feel is gentle pressure but no pain. Any discomfort is very uncommon. IBTS staff are specifically trained in this area. They understand that some donors are anxious about needles and are experienced in putting you at ease. How long will it take? For the whole process, you should allow between 1 and 1.5 hours. The actual donation itself only takes 10 minutes on average. Can I participate in regular activities after donating? You can return to work, school or college after giving blood. However, you should avoid strenuous exercise such as sports training or competitive matches until the following day. How often can I donate? You can give blood safely every 90 days. This time between donations allows your body to recoup the blood volume lost in donation and for your hemoglobin levels to return to normal. How will my blood be used? Your donation can be used for patients recovering from accidents and routine operations, which need blood or blood products. Blood can be broken down into 4 component parts: red and white blood cells, plasma, and platelets. Platelets are mainly used for leukemia patients or patients who are recovering from bone marrow transplants. Where can I give blood? There are 3 fixed centres in Ireland, 2 in Dublin, in Delir Street in the city centre, and in Stillorgan. There is 1 fixed centre in Cork at St Finbarr's Hospital. IBTS mobile clinics visit over 250 venues throughout Ireland each year. How can I find out more? If you have any queries, visit www.giveblood.ie, text blood to 53377, or call 1850 731 137. You can also join us at www.facebook.com/giveblood. Remember, giving blood saves lives. Without it, patients could not undergo certain surgeries or recover from accidents or illnesses. Could you give an hour out of your day to save someone's life?